Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. As you can tell by the title, this is one New Year's resolution for every NBA team. We're recording this on New Year's Eve, so if you're watching this on New Year's, Happy New Year's. Hopefully, everybody have a great start to their year. I want to ask you guys before we get started, what's your New Year's resolution? I do have a question today. It's one of those special times where I do have.
That don't count, bro. That don't count. That's everybody's question of the day.
I don't think New Year's resolutions are like really that big of a thing. So I don't think I really have one right now.
What do you mean? I mean, I think they're important. You know, you got to have some goals going into your year.
I guess, but like, why does it have to be because of the New Year? Can you not have goals in March?
You can, but you know, it's always a restart, a fresh period. You know, 1 year, you're alive more. Q, what's your answer?
Get better with my monies. But it's like I make a lot, so like I'll be.
Speaking of money.
Oh yeah, I can that. Hold
on. Anyway, but yeah, my New Year's resolution is also money management, man. I would just be wild with my money.
Stop betting with me.
Yeah,
stop betting with me.
All right, bro. That's not it, but yeah, I be better with my money. That's pretty much it though. That'll take me a long way for sure. And I'll be procrastinating a lot too, so I can be like more punctual, stuff like that too would help. But we're not here to talk about us. We're here to talk about these NBA teams. And so we're going to start with the East. We're going to go to 15-1 as far as the standings in each conference. So in the West, we go for 15-1. In the East, we go to 15-1. So if you see, you obviously going to see your team. So we'll have like the little time stamp in there where you can go see what our New Year's resolutions for your team will be. So if you don't want to you watch the whole video, but when you're interested in your team, just go click the timestamp for you. It will be in the description. We'll start off with the Washington Wizards. They are at the bottom of the East. For a lot of these rebuilding teams, I'm gonna keep it a G, man. I'm gonna just say develop your young talent, continue to tank for a top pick, whether that's Dylan Harper or Cooper Flag or anyone else in the running. It just makes no sense to compete at this moment in time. So for the Washington Wizards, my New Year's resolution is to continue to develop this young core with Alex Sarr, who has looked a lot better as of late. I don't know how many people know that, but he does look better as far as his efficiency, confidence, all that type of stuff. He's been very he struggled a lot offensively to start his career, but it's actually becoming a lot better as of late. I think over like the last 10 games. So develop Alex Sarr. You got Bilal, who has been an elite defender this year, and a pretty decent offensive player. Bub Carrington, just develop the young core and continue to be bad so you can get a franchise team talent in the next draft or two. That's my New Year's resolution for the Washington Wizards.
I would agree. I really don't think there's much to say about this team. I think trading Kyle Kuzma obviously is something that they have to come to terms with at this trade deadline.
Good point.
Ideally, I think you want to get Jordan Poole off the books. I just don't know how realistic that is.
Still high on him. That's a good point too. If you can get some value while he's.
I just don't know who's trading for Jordan Poole. That's all. That's like kind of my whole thing, though. I don't know who's trading for that Jordan Poole contract. But at the end of the day, there is a lot of good talent in these next two drafts. If you miss out on Harper, if you miss out on Cooper Flag, there still is very good depth and talent in this class. So getting a top pick is essential, and especially with the development they've been doing so far, they have some upside on their prospects for sure. With Bub, with Bilal, with Sarr, with whoever you. I don't.
Keyshawn George. I forgot to say it. Yeah, but.
Yeah, they didn't it? No, that Sarr was the other rookie. I thought they had one more, but you definitely have some upside. So I think that if you get another piece, kind of add to that young core, that'll be good for the future.
Yeah, my New Year's resolution for them was literally to trade Kyle Kuzma and trade Poole, and just go full young and see what you got from there after acquiring talent from this draft. Not really much they could do other than see what they got.
The next team up is going to obviously be the Toronto Raptors, who have lost, I think, 10 or 11 straight games. They are being competitive, though, in their tank. My New Year's resolution for them is to, like the Wizards, continue to develop the young talent. IQ is injured right now. Scotty has been injured a little bit this season as well. But they got flashes from Grady Dick. They got flashes from Jacoby Walter. So continue to develop, some of this young talent and see what you got in this young talent. And keep being bad. You're doing a good job. You need to get a top pick in this draft so you can add some more especially offensive talent to this team. So continue to be bad. Embrace the tank. I promise you, tanking is the best way to go. Almost all of the top contending teams that also are pretty young, they tanked. They did do it. It seems negative for some people, but it's the right way to go. For instance, the Thunder tanked, the Cavaliers tanked. Who else tanked? The Celtics were like bad, but they didn't really tank. The Sixers tanked.
Never tanked.
Yeah, the Sixers tanked. Who else tanked at the top of the league?
Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves did tank too.
I don't think they tanked. I think they was just
Let me look at the top of the standings. Orlando tanked. The Grizzlies, I guess they tanked. The Rockets
they didn't tank either though. They just traded away.
Well,
yeah, they tanked. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, the Rockets. So tanking is good. That's my New Year's resolution for them. Continue to evaluate and develop this young talent and Grady Dick and Jacoby Walter. I seen Scotty Barnes was trying out his 3-point jump shot. So try things out while you have the free time to develop your game. You know, just try things out. Not free time, but while you're not trying to compete for that.
It's free time. This runs. This is gym runs. Open gym runs. They should just try to get a good prospect. They should be no doubt probably have a top 5 pick. If they have a top 5 pick, they should be fine.
My thought process is they just got to commit. Like they're in this weird spot where they're like they're trying to pay talent and have talent that's going to keep them winning games or winning a couple games here and there, thinking that they can make a play in. But then your team is just not good enough. So having so much money wrapped up with RJ, Scotty, quickly, Jakob Poeltl, it just is weird to me. But I think that when you see the little flashes from your young pieces and Scotty Barnes obviously still being young, I think you just got to fully embrace it. If you can ship out RJ or IQ still, I don't think that 3-guard lineup's going to work. So
the next team up is going to be the Charlotte Hornets. You guys can go first. What are your New Year's resolutions for the Charlotte Hornets?
For them, they gotta pick a direction, because they got some young talent, but they also tried to get some vets. The way how teams work, like you either gonna play the vets and try to win, or you're gonna play the young guys and try to get them developed. I think they're just in a mix of trying to do both, and that doesn't really bode well for them. So I think you got to figure out what they're gonna do. Also, on top of that, figure out what you're gonna do with LaMelo if you're gonna keep losing. See what you can get for him if it comes to that decision.
My New Year's resolution for them is finding a secondary scorer. You got to find a better number 2 option. If LaMelo's gonna be playing like this, Brandon Miller is obviously playing good, but I need to see they got to develop that if that's what you're going with. LaMelo, in my opinion, is an all-star starter this year. He's been playing out of his mind.
I don't know all that.
I think that he's been playing as a top 3 guard, top 4 point guard.
He is on a terrible team, and that does inflate your numbers a little bit. And also, it's just like
that's fine. I see
the Pistons winning.
What?
The Pistons are winning games.
Oh, you have K as an all-star starter.
No, I don't. But I'm just saying I don't have either one of them as an all-star starter.
So that was just an irrelevant comment. So I think as a whole, I think you got to either develop Brandon Miller, find that second scorer, but you got to help out LaMelo because I don't think you can commit to a rebuild at all right now.
They are in the Charlotte Hornets are in the rebuild right now. They are in the rebuild.
That's what I'm saying. Though. You can't commit to a hard rebuild and still trying to trade for picks and trade for assets because LaMelo is what 25, 26.
My New Year's resolution is do your best to keep LaMelo Ball healthy and continue to get him reps because I think your star player needs reps. He's obviously a special talent in this league. Try to keep him healthy. Mark Williams has recently returned from injury. Try to keep him healthy because he's an integral part of this young core. He's played well since he came back. So keep LaMelo, Mark Williams healthy. I don't necessarily think they need to try to get a second option. They should try to get that in a draft. I don't think it serves them any. I don't think it's good for them at all to be a competitive team in this league right now. They're 7-25. It's over. The season is done for. They're one of those teams that needs to tank. But yeah, but also you can tank because you're not a good team by keeping LaMelo and Mark Williams healthy and developing chemistry between them and having positive development for their careers. But yeah, it's 7-25 is over for y'all. Next season maybe y'all can compete. The Brooklyn Nets. I'll start with the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets need to lose. They're way too competitive right now. They've been competitive in games after they traded Dennis Schroeder and after they traded Dorian Finney-Smith. They are harming themselves by being a competitive team. They've won way too many games. It was no point of actually trading for this 2025 pick to get your pick back if you were going to be competitive. It makes no sense. They need a franchise-changing talent in this draft or the next draft. They need to be bad. So you need to trade Cam Johnson while his value is at its highest. He is going to net you probably a first-round pick and a few players. Maybe if a team is desperate enough, 2 first-round picks. His value, he's one of the most coveted players on the trade market right now. Trade him while his value is high and be bad. What are y'all doing? Y'all are on track to get like the 8th pick or something like that. Be bad. I don't know what they're doing. It makes no sense to compete in the play-in spot type of thing and then get like the 8th pick, 10th pick. Most times in NBA history, the best players come from those top 5 picks. That's where going to get you. So yeah, be bad immediately. When y'all can go.
I'm gonna go. Oh yeah, they gotta lose. Like that's simple, straight up, just like that. You could lose while still playing good basketball. You could have you gotta play winning basketball and still lose. I know that was kind of like a thing. I don't know, like you feel me? Like they wasted time. They already behind the 8 ball a lot. There's like 5 teams ahead of them. Like in terms of like who's gonna get the top pick, they need to be within like the top 3. Like they need that top 5 pick because after 3, I ain't gonna lie, it's not like franchise changing talent potentially. So they really need a top 2 pick.
I agree with what you guys both said. I think just focus a little more collecting assets. Being bad, yes, but definitely collecting assets, getting what you can, like what Latif just said for Cam Johnson, for Cam Thomas, for whatever you had that people think are valuable. Keeping your young pieces, keeping a couple of the guys on the team, obviously. But they were getting kind of obsessed with expiring contracts too. So obviously keeping cap space free. We've seen stars go to Brooklyn before. I don't know if that happens again in the so recent future, but they traded for 2 expiring deals. So I think they're trying to.
They also need to trade D'Angelo Russell or buy him out, or probably like you can probably.
Nah, he's getting bought out. He's getting bought out.
Yeah, he's getting bought out. So go ahead and do that too. Next team up is the Philadelphia 76ers. I
got it. Rest all your starters and draft Cooper Flag. That
would change the future of their franchise.
For what? 40 games, right? Rest them for 40 or 45.
No, you don't have. You only have to rest Joel Embiid. But my New Year's resolution for the Philadelphia 76ers is do your best to keep Joel Embiid, Maxey, PG healthy in hopes of a playoff push. PG has still been playing pretty good defense. The offense has looked terrible. He's clearly regressed. So I don't really know if he's gonna be a 3rd star. But they got a big win over the Celtics a few days ago. They're only they're 13-17 in the 11th spot. So they're like basically like 3 games out to like the 7th seed or something right now. So hopefully try to climb higher because honestly, I feel like if they get like the 7th seed and have to face Boston, they're going home in the first round. I would probably still pick Cleveland over them. And probably New York too. I don't think the Sixers are that good, but if they're healthy, they can make some noise. But yeah, try to get in comfortably as a playoff team. Maybe the 5th, 6th, 4th seed, those type of things. Because I think you see the top 2 teams in the East, you're gonna lose.
I agree. Just make the playoffs healthy. I think one way or another they're going out to Boston. So whether it's in the first round or whether it's in the conference finals, the second round, I don't care. They're going to go out to Boston. I really don't think it matters where you play. You're going to have to. Huh?
You gotta get to Boston first. Cleveland, bro. We for real, bro. Shit gonna get dark. We play them. Just saying. Go ahead.
That's fine. Sure. But I'm just like you're gonna eventually have to beat the good teams. So it's really a matter of if you play them round 1, round 2, round 3. It doesn't really matter. If they're healthy, if Joel Embiid's there, obviously we know what kind of playoff performer he is. But I still think they have a chance against some of the top teams in the East.
What do you mean by that?
You just got to get healthy. You just got to get healthy and just make the playoffs.
They got to climb the 5. That should be their number 1 thing to do. Climb to the 5th seed.
Which is definitely doable.
It is.
Yeah. They're like 5 games back. They could catch them. They'd have to beat a couple of those teams along the way, but they could do it.
Definitely.
Next team up is me and Q's Detroit Pistons. You can start. What's your New Year's resolution for the Detroit Pistons?
I want them like this was cool. Like what they did was cool. They got a coach in there, surrounded some vets, some shooting. Things look good. Things look cool. Right now, really in the play-on hunt. I think we probably gonna hover around there a lot. As of right now, like with the current roster, I think they should try to trade for a secondary like scorer to put next to Cade. I don't know if that means trading Ivy. Maybe it's too early on the Ivy train. I don't kind of think so because this is like this their third year, this contract time, this like extension time. They got to move, but for surely we could talk about the secondary scorer, whether it be Levine or whoever, blah blah blah, Simons, you name it. They have to move up Jalen Durham. That's it. Like if they do that, I'm cool. Everything else I can wait for.
My New Year's resolution for the Pistons is for them to continue to build the culture. They built a pretty good culture with JB Bickerstaff already, especially with players like Ron Holland and Sir Thompson as far as defensively. K seems to have a different mindset this year. The whole team just seems to have a different mindset this year. They're actually competing in every single game, whether it's a good outcome or a bad outcome. I think the process is a lot better. I think someone like Malik Beasley has done a lot for the culture and the team. I think Tobias Harris has, at least for the culture and the locker room, done a lot as a vet, even though his play isn't matching it right now. I would just continue to build the culture while evaluating the talent you have. Jaden Ivey hasn't playing well since he came back from injury. Jalen Duren has been awful. So I don't know exactly when they will move him. He is coming up on his rookie max extension type of thing, or rookie extension. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but just continue to build the culture while evaluating talent. I do think you eventually need to get a co-star for Cade, but I don't know if it exactly has to be this season. So maybe at the deadline, maybe in the offseason, we'll have to see. Eventually, though, they do need to get a second star for Cade. If that's not going to be Jaden Ivey, I think it's a possibility it's Jaden Ivey, but I wouldn't bet on it. I think it's probably unlikely. But go ahead, Max.
Obviously you guys watch more Pistons basketball than I do, but I do think the concept of getting a second star, it's not Jaden Ivey. So getting that second score, getting that second help is huge. Honestly, I didn't know Duren was that bad. So how hearing you guys hate on Duren, I haven't seen
hate. He's like actually awful defensively. It's very bad.
Yeah, I guess I'm not seeing that, or I didn't see that.
I never really bought into Jalen Duren. Like, sure, he's a great rebounder. Sure, he could jump, but he's not a good scorer of the basketball. He's not a good defender at all. For even with all the tools, like he makes no sense as a player. Like you would think, like he could be a Nick Claxton type player. He's nowhere near Nick Claxton.
So I guess my whole thing is just get a second score. They got shooting in the offseason. Obviously they have more wins now. What, they have 14 or 15 right now? Have they got to 15 yet?
14.
So they got as many wins now as they did last year. So obviously something they're doing is working for sure. Cade's playing a lot better. I'd say just help him out by getting him another scorer who can drop 25 a night, 30 a night.
The next team up is going to be the Chicago Bulls. I think this is pretty simple. Trade everybody that has value. Do not make the same. The Bulls do not need to make the same mistake they made in previous years. Do not hold on to these players that are increasing their value as much as possible right now. Zach LaVine is having a really good season. I know his trade value is in the dumpster, but you need to get him off the roster immediately. Nikola Vucevic is probably having the best season of his career. He's arguably is. You need to trade him immediately.
It's definitely probably top 2, top 3.
Try to get Lonzo Ball off the team as well, if you can, while he's an expiring contract, and then just be bad so you can get a top pick in his draft class, for sure. So Bulls, trade everybody immediately.
Same. Move over. You already did it with DeMar. You might as well get everybody that's 28 and older off the team, and move on with the young talent you already got. Plus, you're going to be bringing in even more young talent once this draft come through. So yeah, you have no business holding on to Vooch and Zach LaVine right now.
Exact same thing. They should have committed to a rebuild like 4 years ago. So these guys should have been off the team.
The Indiana Pacers are the next team up. They've made a pretty good leap. They're 7-3 in the last 10. They're playing some good basketball. They're at the AC right now. For the Indiana Pacers, I would just say continue to try to get Tyrese Halliburton back on track. He's looked a little bit better than what he did to begin the year. They also were dealing with injuries to begin the year, and now Andrew Nembhard is back. So the resolution is try to keep your players healthy and try to instill confidence in Tyrese Halliburton after the slump he had. I know his confidence had to be shaken off how bad he's playing and all the scrutiny from the media. I think he's on that Netflix show where like they're filming players this year. Yeah. So we're gonna see how bad his mental health is. Not like I'm not gloating about that or nothing like that. I'm just saying it's gonna be interesting to see how he handled.
Who we talking about?
Tyrese Halliburton, the Netflix show that they film every year now. But also see you can try to upgrade the wing spot as well to be more competitive. But yeah, that's my New Year's resolution for the Indiana Pacers.
Mine is just to try to get back to where you were last year early on. I know it's kind of hard because like with Pascal, the pace is not going to be as fast. But yeah, between that, get Tyrese back, Halliburton back in his quote unquote groove or a little bag, whatever it is. And then yeah, upgraded the wing. I think that's what they're missing. I think between Pascal, Tyrese, and Miles Turner, you got a decent enough like core. You just got to add somebody in there to give it an extra little boost. They also got to try to make a decision on Miles Turner too. I mean, I guess they could wait on that till like it's absolutely necessary.
I guess again I'll echo what they said. I think it's like this team obviously last year was on cloud 9 and they kind of fell back to earth through the first part of the season. Tyrese Halliburton especially, they just got to get back on track. I just think at the end of the day, like unless someone really emerges as a third star or can carry more of the offensive role, they're just not better than other teams in the East. So maybe it's their New Year's resolution be having a better defensive presence, being a better defensive basketball team. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of this stuff on this team relies on Tyrese Halliburton.
I just don't know if they have the capability of doing that. Like,
I agree. I think you have some wing defenders. I think Miles Turner more in the past has shown that he can be a good defensive big. He showed flashes, but like I don't think you have a lot of Tyrese can't defend. You don't have a lot of guys who can help that.
The next team is the Miami Heat. My New Year's resolution for the Miami Heat is to trade Jimmy Butler. I have no idea why they're being stubborn with this or Pat Riley has been stubborn with this. The way I look at this situation is Jimmy is either going to it's not either. He's going to opt out in free agency this offseason and test free agency. And you could potentially lose him for nothing. I don't know exactly how many suitors he's going to have at the age of 36 going into next season. But I think it's potentially risky to lose him for nothing instead of getting what assets you can get back for him now. I think the Miami Heat are in no position to compete. Compete, yes. Playoff team, probably. Compete for a championship? No, not even close. So I think it's better to bottom out or like try to do like a mini retool, but definitely trade Jimmy Butler. He is not going to take you to a championship. And if a team like the Warriors or a team like the Mavericks, I don't think the Mavericks are going to do it, but one of those type of teams will give you assets back for aging Jimmy Butler, who is not as good as he once was. Definitely do it. I don't know why Pat Riley is being stubborn. Pat Riley, again, I think I said this on the last episode of the podcast, which is coming out today. Well, when this video comes out, it'll be yesterday. But Pat Riley hasn't really done nothing since LeBron era and then getting Jimmy Butler. And once he got Jimmy Butler, he has not surrounded him with enough talent to actually win a championship. They overachieved. That's not due to Pat Riley. That's due to Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and their greatness. But what Pat Riley has done, nothing. Every time a star is on the market, Miami Heat Photoshop jerseys, they're not actually getting to Miami Heat. Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, Zach LaVine, none of that got done. So that's my New Year's resolution for the Miami Heat.
Miami can actually attract free agents. So I think if Jimmy Butler leaves, this is not the last time someone's going to go to Miami.
Hold on.
I'm just saying, people want to go to Miami.
Who wanted to go to Miami that actually went to Miami?
That's the part that actually went to Miami, and I think that falls.
It can't be a free agent destination if ain't no free agents going there.
I think it falls. I agree with Latif. I think it falls more on Pat Riley than anything else. With him being stingy to trade his picks, with him being like, I think it like honestly.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, eventually, as that keeps happening, other players is noticing. That means it slowly becomes not a free agent destination.
I understand, but I'm not saying Pat Riley's gonna like stop.
It got more than just, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It got to be more than just oh, it's the beach and it's sunny, like in low tax.
I guess, but I feel like I understand what you're saying, but I just think Miami is always going to be in that conversation for what it is. And also, as long as Eric Spoelstra's there as well, I feel like people don't always want to commit to what Pat Riley runs, like the type of commitment that he demands from his players. But I think if they can trade Jimmy Butler, if you can get some assets back for sure, if you can clear up some cap space, having a core with Tyler Hero and Bam, a couple other pieces, if you can bring a good player into that, if you could bring a star into that, that automatically puts you in competitive basketball out in the Eastern Conference. Having Bam and having Tyler Hero, it's great teammates to help you out. So I think if they can somehow convince or draft well, which I mean, Miami's so weird with drafting, but if you can somehow strike gold on a great pick and find a star, or you can actually finally complete a trade or a signing for a star, you put them in a good situation.
Did you do your New Year's resolution, Q?
No. Oh, I talked, so I forgot. It's for them to be serious, and that goes like strictly to Pat Riley in the front office. They have to be serious. They're not making serious moves. They're not being serious. They're too stubborn, or Pat Riley's too stubborn. He wanted his way, how he wants it, and sometimes that could get in the way of actually being like, a good organization, because you lose out on an opportunity to actually make your team better because it's either your way or the highway. And sometimes that just don't work. You've gotten lucky and got to the finals twice through no help of you thinking that you're getting, a bunch of undrafted free agents off the street. You ain't do that. Eric Spoelstra really made them who they are, and they're not even like great players, because outside of Eric Spoelstra, those players don't really do anything. You need to let Jimmy go, but you need to get something back in return. If you're gonna find a way to get a star there, you could get a De'Aaron Fox. That'd be cool. You're probably still not gonna win a championship, but you'll be a lot better off. He fits the timeline. Your three best players will be around 28 years old. That's cool. That gives you a good runway. Because if you're gonna trade Jimmy, just because if you let Jimmy go, yeah, $50 million is off your books, but you don't have $50 million. You're still over the cap. So there's not much options to do to try and get better other than good drafting and trading assets. And your best asset as of right now, outside of Bam, who's untouchable, is Jimmy Butler. So you just got to be serious and make the tough decisions.
The next team up is the Milwaukee Bucks. It was kind of difficult for me to find a New Year's resolution, but
cut is crazy, by the way.
Huh?
Cut is crazy. I seen what you wrote.
My New Year's resolution for the Milwaukee Bucks is get Chris Middleton integrated with this team, because he's coming back. He came back from injury, and the players have been a little bit shaky, but he's going to be very important to this team's ceiling. He's been one of the options to go to down the stretch, and if he can be what he was last year in the playoffs for a decent amount of stretch for them, it can increase their ceiling a little bit, because you're going to need that third scoring option next to Dame and Giannis. Can't fall all on them. So if he can you can get like a vintage Chris Middleton playoff run, then it'll help the Bucks a lot and be a dangerous team in the East. Do I think they're going to win the championship? No. But Chris Middleton will go a long way to helping that. And maybe try to, improve on the margins as well with like some more perimeter defense, maybe like a Chris Dunn type.
That's mine, was improve on the margins. I don't really think they have many. That's the issue. They don't have many trade assets to really move around. So you really got to get creative with what you're going to do. I think, sure, in a perfect world, Chris Middleton can get back to what he was doing in 2021. When Giannis would go down, he would step up. But I don't know if that's actually realistic on a night-to-night basis right now. I think it's going to take a lot more time for that. This team sometimes does not look completely cohesive. I don't know if you can blame the players, the coaching staff for that. But if you can get one or two more knockdown three-point shooters, 3-and-D defenders, obviously they're hard to come by in the league, but if you could do something to get some defense, get something on that team, they need depth for sure.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I thought they improved on the margins. I'm mistaken. It's a hit or miss. Taurean Prince has been good, but Gary Trent hasn't. They do have some bright spots that they found, not diamond in the rough per se, but like just some unforeseen play. At this point, Chris Middleton got to be better. Dame has been cool. I think they're just in a tough spot. So it's like there's not much they can do other than like probably internal. So that's just to get better internally.
The next team is going to be the Atlanta Hawks, and my New Year's resolution for the Atlanta Hawks is going to be to move off Clint Capella. I think he has a little bit of interest, or they're trying to move off of him. He's on an expiring deal, so I think a team will take him for some assets, and then probably try to get a backup point guard as well. When Trey is not on the floor, as far as that creation, it's really bleak, and that's not a lot of the time. But if you can get a Alonzo Ball or something like that who can help the team if he stay healthy as a backup point guard running the offense and competing on defense, then that would be, I think, beneficial for this team. I think they're a fun team. They're a competitive team. You can upgrade the center position potentially and then get a backup point guard. I think it just makes them a more competitive team. Do I think they're going to make the ECF or a finals? No. But it's kind of like improving on the margins a little bit for the Hawks.
I was the same thing. Perimeter creation. Lonzo's a good option. They looking at Javon Carter. I don't think that's the move. It's pretty regular. That doesn't really move the needle not even a little bit. I wouldn't say Lonzo does either, but I think healthy Lonzo is better than Javon Carter, and he could pass. He could play with space. This is a fast team. He's great on fast break. He's great making that skip pass. It fits right in with what they're gonna do, and he's not really gonna get in the way of Jalen Johnson and Richardson and things like that. I also think they should try to sell high on DeAndre Hunter. I don't know if this is a fluke year, but he's most likely 6th man of the year, and he could definitely help another team.
Mine is develop. Jalen Johnson, whoever, Dyson Daniels. You have so many young pieces that you need one to stick with Trae Young. Going forward, you need to develop for sure.
The next team is the Orlando Magic. My New Year's resolution for them is to just tread water until Paolo and Franz get back from injury. They are doing a really good job of beating the bad teams. The teams they're supposed to beat, they beat them. I think they're 16-3 against teams under 500. They struggle against teams over 500, but continue to tread water until Paolo and Franz get back, and then possibly trade for another perimeter creator or sign one. I know D'Angelo Russell, I think when he gets bought out, is going to be a decently hot commodity on the open market, and I think on a service level, he can help this team with being able to contribute in the pick and roll. Pretty good passer, pretty good shooter, and come playoff time, you don't want to rely on him. But next to Paolo and Franz, he could damn near be the starting point guard on this team, honestly.
He won't be, but he can be.
I mean, Suggs is there for sure. Then they probably have Suggs, KCP. So they'll start Suggs. That makes more sense. But come playoff time, I think the offense for Suggs is gonna get nasty. But hey, okay.
Mine just literally traded for a perimeter scorer. I've been on the Anthony Simons wave. He doesn't need to be a great facilitator, because I think how they operate, everybody has a chance to score and create, especially their two wings. Simons just comes in there, he gives them premium spacing that they need to let everybody else operate, and just that alone, skyrocket this team. His money is not that detrimental to them, so it doesn't really matter, especially since all the extensions that they have, they're not going to kick in until 4 years down the road anyway. So I think he fits right in, kind of fits the timeline. But he's 24, 25. Yeah, that's decent, and he can shoot. He's 20 points per game, especially right now while everybody's out. Well, Paolo should be coming back soon, I think.
Yeah.
But him and Paolo, they can run it up until Franz get back, and then that's a nice three-headed little monster come playoff time.
I guess I agree with both you guys said. My thing would just be, I don't think Suggs is a number 3 after Franz and Paolo get back. I think you need a more 3-level scorer. So if that's Anthony Simons for you, perfect. What's Suggs shooting for 3 this year? I don't even know.
Suggs is probably at 34, 35.
So I just think
he had a decent clip where it went up. So I'm not sure. It might be better.
I just think that getting a catch and shoot guy, getting a guy who's fine being a 3. Suggs, it's your defensive presence. He can go get a spark. He's a kind of a spark plug off the bench. Can go get a bucket. But I think playing alongside Paolo and Franz, getting a more spot up shooter at times.
What are you talking about? My bad.
Suggs.
I just said you can grab someone else.
No, he's shooting 30%.
I don't think Suggs is
Wait,
number
what?
3. I don't think Suggs is number 3 going forward.
No, he's
So
definitely not.
I said trying to look where I said Q said Anthony Simons, whoever that is, stinky Jordan Poole, someone like that. I mean, even a Cam Thomas, literally just be a spot up shooter. Wow, on camera is crazy.
No,
All
you
right, next one.
say he's shooting 30%?
Yeah, 30%. He is scoring the most of his career, but that's due to inflation since, Paolo and Franz out there.
I don't know. Paying $30 million for a fourth option on the team, I just don't know. New York Knicks are the 30th seed right now. They're the next team up. My resolution for them is do your best to, get Mitchell Robinson ingratiated with his team when he come back. And I don't think they can really improve on the margins that much, to be honest, because they kind of like use a lot of their assets. But they also need to they do really well against they've been doing really well against the bad teams in the league. I think they're 16-3 or something like that against the bad teams. They're like 8-6 or something like that against the teams under 500. So just being a little bit more dominant against teams that are actually good teams coming up. So that's really it.
Mine was looking for a backup big, but you just don't have any assets to flip around for stuff. So
the next I think their resolution is try to figure out what they're gonna do with Cat and Mitchell Robinson once Mitchell Robinson come back. Whether that's bring Mitch off the bench, that could be sticky because how he be going on social media, he be crying and things like that. Or you start him, probably take a hit on your offense, but that allow you to put Josh Hart on the bench. Then you have your bench gets slightly better, even though Chip, he once playoff time come, he gonna run a 7-man rotation. But yeah, it's just trying to figure out how you're gonna, anchor that defense. Even though Cat, he's definitely not anchoring no defense, but you got to have him out there on the floor. And at the 5, that's his best position. So I don't know if you want to move him to the 4. That kind of might mess things up. So I think they just got to figure out how they're gonna do that. Use the next 4 months to just tweak some things, figure out what they could do, see if they could try to hit something on the buyout, whatever it is.
No, he's dead ass having the best offensive season in his career. It's because he got moved back to the 5 in the best offensive context of his career with all the spacing that the Knicks have. So, getting Mitch back like on the team and playing is definitely going to be like a bit of a struggle with the fit on the team. But the next team is the Boston Celtics. For me, it's they have been dealing with some injuries. Jason Tatum has missed time. Jaylen Brown, I think, has missed time a little bit. Kristaps Porzingis is definitely missed time. So it's trying to get through the season healthy and ready for the playoffs healthy. Because there's really no team that can stop them, to be honest. So I think they suffered a little bit from championship fatigue, a little bit too. Not as dominant as they were last year, but just getting through this regular season and getting ready for the playoffs. So that's because it's really when the time really matters. I don't think they don't really need to do anything as far as like trades and nothing like that.
Yeah. My New Year's resolution for them is just chill. You know what I'm saying?
they're the best in the league.
They could be 3rd seed. It doesn't really matter. Seeding is whatever. Just chill, gang. Just you could coast. After January, you could play 500 basketball. It doesn't even matter. 2 nights sit Jaylen Brown. Another 2 nights you sit Jason Tatum. Sit Drew here. Sit White here. Definitely sit Porzingis for a week if you can. There's just things like that just to keep them fresh. Because once players come in, they're gonna hit the ground running. They could literally finish every series they want in 6 or less games. They just got to chill.
I agree. They're the best team in basketball. So no matter how to get the playoffs, they could honestly.
Come on, gang. Let's stop it.
Y'all gonna stop thinking about Cavs, man. I'm trying to tell you.
I honestly think that this Boston team, like what you're saying, Q, could lose. Like being healthy, could lose, get to the 8th seed, and run the gauntlet as the 8th seed. Like obviously they play the Cavs round 1, whatever 4 seed round 2, and they'd be completely fine. So I really don't have. I think the best team in basketball. So they just gotta relax.
Now I'll turn to the real best team in basketball, Cleveland Cavaliers. Their New Year's resolution, I think, is like improving on the margins. They need to get some more talent at the wing position. If they can get a Cam Johnson, it's really gonna be up. It's really gonna be up, man. If they get Cam Johnson with the shooting he provides, the defense he provides, attacking closeouts, all that type of stuff. Yeah, Cam Johnson is one of those needle movers, one of those auxiliary role players that can really help a team. So Possibly making a move to get a better wing at the deadline so they can really increase their chances of competing for a championship. Right now, I think they're a tier below Boston, but I don't think Johnson necessarily changes that, but he definitely gets you closer.
Whose backcourt would you rather have? Boston's or Cleveland's?
Boston. I mean Cleveland. The fuck?
And whose front court would you rather have? Boston or Cleveland's?
Boston. Tatum and Porzingis. I would rather have Tatum and Porzingis.
If it's Tatum Porzingis, then yeah, you take Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like they're at their best 5 going forward is Drew, Derek.
You take Boston.
Porzingis. I can't say anything. They need LeBron to come back at this point in time. Like that's their solution. Bring LeBron back home. That's the only thing that could really make them beat Boston at this point in time.
I don't
think Cam Johnson is the piece of resistance that's gonna like push you over Boston.
LeBron on this Cavs team for 2 years, they win 2 chips.
I agree. Yeah. It's the best team we would ever have.
That's not the only thing they can do to beat Boston, bro. That's ridiculous. Like,
I didn't say that. I'm just saying, Braun.
I'm joking about it, but yes, them trading for LeBron, it's a recipe to beat Boston. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, you're high on the Cavs because your team, but like,
no, I'm high on them because
realistically,
they are literally the best offensive basketball right now. Darius Garland has got a lot better. Evan Mobley, a lot better. He's shooting like 40. He's shooting like 40% from 3 this year. Like ridiculous. I know some low attempts. I don't care. Jared Allen got better. Donovan Mitchell, his numbers look worse, but he's playing good basketball because this is a whole team type of thing. One of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. And Max Strus has missed a lot of the season, which he is a very important part of this team that people are underrated. Okoro has missed a part of the season. Dean Wade has missed a part of the season. And we just whooped the Nuggets twice. That's a good team. Like, that's a good team. So, again, yeah, man. The Cavs are still underrated. Because people living off the shit from, like, last 2 years, it's a completely different team with a completely different head coach. It's a different team. But that's my take. Did you say yours for the Kingdom Cavaliers too?
Oh, yeah, it's just get Cam Johnson. There's nothing else they can. I don't think there's no other move available to them that helps them better than Cam Johnson. So it's literally just get Cam Johnson. It's a prime position that allows them to make, they have that make them have like one of the better starting 5. They can flex the lineup a little bit, do some bench things, put him at the 4 here. Sometimes if you want to run Mobley and him, you could run him and Allen. You could do a lot of things with Cam Johnson.
All right, we are on to the West. Let's speed this up a little bit. New Orleans Pelicans, continue to tank. I think they had the second overall pick right now, maybe the first. No, they had the first overall pick right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the worst team in the league. Zion, I'm not gonna lie, don't play Zion again for the year. It makes no sense.
I'm gonna get into it. Yeah, go ahead.
Keep him out. Brandon Ingram, try to trade him if you can. Who else? DeJounte Murray, I mean, I guess if you can move off him. Just tank.
But I'm literally, same thing. Continue to tank. They literally came out. They're prioritizing trade Brandon Ingram. Obviously, should have been did that. They already came out and said they're open to trading Zion. Everybody's pretty much, touchable outside of like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. They probably could. Like Trey Murphy, not untouchable. They just gotta have a great offer, and nobody's gonna offer up 3 first-round picks for Trey Murphy. So most likely he's staying there. But with the number 1 overall pick on this team next year, with Herb, Trey, Missy, if you get a Dylan Harper in there, you straight. I think you find your star for the future, and you already got a good building block with some players. There's some decent players around them. So yeah, they just gotta continue to tank. All
right. Next team up is Utah Jazz. They've been one of the worst teams in the league this year, obviously. For the Jazz, it's the same thing. These years, they had a few years where they had got like the 8th pick, 10th pick, because they were trying to be competitive and stuff like that. Right now, I think they have a clear direction. Also, offload some of this talent. Walker Kessler has trade value. He's an extremely valuable player right now because of his contract, especially. Colin Sexton is having another career year, and he can get you value when you trade him. Who else? Jordan Clarkson has value. So offload this value, get picks back for them, like Danny Ainge, stop being stingy, and continue to be bad, and then get a top pick that can change the franchise.
Yeah, they gotta, because they're gonna get a top pick anyway. So it's not much saying like, oh, get a top pick because they're gonna get one. They're already bad. But yeah, they gotta move off the Kesslers, the Sextons, the Clarksons. Like just get them off because it's not like they're wasting their time there, and you're wasting your time having them on the roster. Like you might as well get what you can for them. Obviously, got a bunch of young talent, but give them the next half of the year. Just play it out, see who's gonna really stay, who's not. And then you bring in your draft pick and then move on from there and really start trying to build something.
Portland Trailblazers are next up. I will also say this is kind of like a similar thing to the Utah Jazz. Try to offload assignments. Try to offload Jeremy Grant if you can. Offload Robert Williams. No, calm down. Actually, what I was gonna say about Scoot is they haven't really prioritized developing Scoot. Like not at all. Chauncey Billups has done a bad job of that. The franchise has done a bad job of that. Obviously, Scoot hasn't been what we thought he was going to be, but they also haven't really prioritized him. He's been a backup behind Simons and Malcolm Brogdon last year, so I don't think they really have invested enough in him. Like considering they picked him second overall, I don't feel like they've really prioritized him as far as their rebuild. To be honest,
picked him third,
right? You're right.
Smart. This it would have been crazy to take him too. Wonder who said that.
Right.
Yeah, I have to do the same thing as the Jazz, and they got like, I think they probably have like comparable, if you want to say better than what the Jazz got, so you could probably get more. Again, next year, the back half of the season, play out with your young talent, see who's there, see who's not. You could get a decent amount for Simons. You get something for Rob Will. You get something for Jamie Grant. I don't know what you can get for DeAndre Ayton, but he's movable too. Maybe not now, but probably definitely in the summer. You can move DeAndre in, just let the dust settle. But yeah, them and the Jazz, same exact predicament, same exact like type situation, same timeline.
All right, next team up is the Kings. Their season's not over. Like they can possibly make the playoffs, but I highly doubt it. I would try to trade De'Aaron Fox either at the deadline or in the summer. Try to trade Sabonis at the deadline or the summer. DeMar DeRozan, I don't know who wants him, but trade him at the deadline or the summer, and then hit the. It sounds it's a bummer because you were just here like a few years ago. So, but
well, think about what they were
another rebuild.
That year they was there. A lot of teams was dealing with injuries. It was a game of attrition. They just happened to be the least injured team, and they went crazy. They have to reset because I think they did a bad job of like actually putting the type of players around the team that they had. As of right now, I don't like the Fox, Mike Brown, King situation is kind of weird. But I think you should move on Fox. Thing what it is, he's trying to get that Supermax contract. He's only could get that from the Kings. I don't know if you want to wait, get that contract, then get traded, whatever it is. But that's a thing. I don't think Sabonis is like. I don't think you can build a competent championship level team around Sabonis, like with Sabonis at your starting center. So you got to kind of do something with that. I think you might as well just press the reset button, get a top pick, and, go from there. Like did it before. It took them a long time, and I know they want to stay as relevant as long as possible because they finally reached this point. But there's no point of hovering around 10 to like the 10th to 7th seed and just getting bounced in the first round. It doesn't really do much for you. Some teams are cool with that, just being relevant in the playoff race, making the playoffs every year or almost making it. But at some point, you got to do right by your franchise and do right by the players and just actually try to be better.
Next team up is the Phoenix Suns. They are at the bottom of the standings. Golly. My New Year's resolution for them is get healthy. Do your best to get healthy. Devin Booker has missed a lot of time this year. KD has missed time this year. But mostly when KD is on the floor, they've been pretty good. But as of late, without Devin Booker, I've lost a few games. Also, try to get an actual starting caliber center as best you can, because Yusuf Nurkic is awful. So he can't. If you want to actually compete in the playoffs, if you make it there, you need to get him off the team for sure.
Yeah, the Suns is one of those teams that like Kevin Durant, my guy, but like once he got to the Suns, like I just seen the writing on the wall. I wasn't really rocking with it. I thought coming into this year though, if they were healthy, as long as they were healthy, they probably could be a top 6 seed. And it was looking like that in the beginning of the year, but then people went down. Like with Kevin Durant on the court, this on the floor, this is a very good team. But too many people in and out. It's just like it's not enough. Then you got the Nurkic situation, not good. Depth still an issue. The Tyus Jones move in theory was great coming in. It's still like hit or miss, like here and there. Like he still does a decent job for what you think Tyus Jones is, but like it's margin that they got to try to fill without much avenues to fill. Their best option is touching that Bradley Beal trade. See if you could get him to say no. I mean, say yes on a trade, and that's $50 million. You can either bring in Jimmy Butler, but you kind of be in the same situation, or you could try to aggregate that and get enough. Like, as a matter of fact, they can't because I think they got to do 1-1 because they're a second apron team. So I mean, if we want Jimmy Butler, I think that's an upgrade anyway. So I think you could probably push that button, but he just has to say yes. He's going to Miami. That'd be cool. But other than that, it's not really much they can do. They pigeonholed themselves, did a lot of dumb things before and after Mashville.
All right, next team up is the Golden State Warriors. For me, with this team, it's been the same thing. Try to get Steph as much help as he can, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I seen a tweet this morning that said, "Do not trade any assets or players because Steph is basically not going to get done." I don't think Steph can win a championship anymore.
That's your tweet. That sounds like something you.
It is because I honestly don't think Steph is. I think Steph is regressing. I mean, it's clear as day. He has not played like an all-star this year, but he would make the all-star team because of his legacy. And I do not think he can win you a championship anymore. And I don't think he's played like that in around like 10 months. He had a bad end to the last season, and that's mostly because he got injured and stuff like that. But he hasn't played at all-star level for like, in my estimation, like 10 months, bro. I don't think he can.
It's been longer than that. It's been longer than that. Like when we was the past 2 years when we do the player rankings and everything like that, somehow for the past 2 years, Steph Curry was always put above Kevin Durant. He hasn't been better than Kevin Durant in 2 years. He really hasn't. Like he really hasn't. Like he hasn't been done more in the playoffs. He hasn't even gotten there for real. Like he was there for a little bit and was out, made a play and then make the playoff. Like he hasn't been there. And you want to say, oh, he got worn down. I tell you about his face, he got worn down. He's carrying the team. Bro, a lot of these teams, a lot of these top players are doing that, bro. Like, it's okay. Lead the game before the game leave you, man.
No, definitely, though. Lead the game for the game leaves you. Let's just say, there's literally no move they can make to make the championship contender. They might have Steph want to stay there for life, but he might do better to win a championship as going on a different team, honestly.
Yeah. When we did a couple episodes ago when we had KD on, we was talking about the Warriors, and I was blaming the front office. It's a lot. Steph has some culpability in that too, but like this team would be a lot better if they wasn't holding on to Pods, who's damn near like unplayable, but they got to play him because they already say he was untouchable. Like if they would have just gave him up and Kuminga, you'd be in a different spot right now because you got Lauri Markkanen and he'd be playing for something. The offense would be a lot better, less than the low for Steph because Lauri Markkanen, 28, he can go out, shoot a bunch of threes, come on screen, do a lot of that Steph Curry thing. He'd just be doing it with a 7-footer who's young, got the legs. He could score. Now that it's try to get Jimmy Butler. We're talking about another dude who isn't as good as he used to be. Now we got four dudes that's 34, 35 plus. That's not really where they at. One of them dudes don't really take the regular season serious, but you need him to take the regular season serious because they're like a 9th seed or a 10th seed, wherever they at right now, to try to bring him up. Draymond's not like some scorer, so there's only so much he could do to help, put actual points on the board because he needs to score the basketball. Defense, cool. It's always going to be cool. Jimmy Butler, if he's there, is going to be better, obviously. But
my bad. I'm going to cut you off.
I don't. Warriors, I don't know. I don't know why people still got hope in Buddy over there. It's over.
San Antonio Spurs are the next team up. This is not necessarily a this year thing because this is a New Year's resolution. So this honestly is the whole 2025. So that's the rest of this season, the summer, going until next season. Technically, my New Year's resolution is to surround Wemby with a team. He is clearly one of the best players in the game right now. So we need to get some talent. The rest of this roster is honestly awful. Keldon Johnson is having a down year. Chris Paul is he's okay, I guess. Having a decent season for like a 38-year-old. Vasil is, I think, he's up and down. He's just giving you scoring basically. Jeremy Sohan is having a really good season. Castle, I mean, really inefficient, but showing you some signs of defense and facilitating, and hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, they're gonna probably continue to build with him. So they are, I think, at like the 11th, 10th seed, something like that, 9th seed, something like that, somewhere around there. They're in the play-in picture right now. I don't know if that's where you want to be. It depends on what you want to do. Unless you like trade these draft picks for someone, I think they should go out and get like a De'Aaron Fox to pair next to Wemby and then continue to build the team because I don't think he's gonna cost too much. But yeah, my news, just upgrade the team around Wemby. He's ready right now to be in the playoffs and competing for serious stuff in the next few years.
This is like year 2, year 3 Anthony Davis when he was on the Hornets, Pelicans, whatever. Obviously, he's a top 10 player right now. Like you got a top 10 player with a bad roster, but you clearly see the talent. Now's the time to push that button. The draft pick, I don't think they need I don't think drafting a Cooper Flag or Dylan Harper necessarily is the move. Like, yeah, Dylan Harper would be cool because now you got your perimeter guy, you got your big. But if you want he want to win now. If you want to push that button, accelerate it, De'Aaron Fox is a cool move, and then with his contract, it'll be the only real contract on the books. And after that, you can really fill it around. Next year, now free agents, you can probably really get free agents in there, trade some things. Next year you really in the playoff race because Wemby's a star right now, damn near a superstar, internationally, global. You can't keep wasting talent right there. You can't let them sit and not be in the playoffs, 2-3 straight years. So yeah, they gotta try to get that second star.
Next team up is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this is a interesting team because they have kind of hit a tough spot right now. I think their New Year's resolution is get Rob Dillingham on the floor, man. You got to get him on the floor and develop him because you traded premium assets for Rob Dillingham all the way up to what it was like the 8th pick to take him. You got to get him on the floor. Mike Conley is clearly regressed. Jaden McDaniels is looking like one of the worst contracts in the league right now because of what he's giving you offensively. So my resolutions for them is to, 1, get Julius Randle over team. He doesn't fit. And 2, get Rob Dillingham on the floor. He's your future. Simple.
Yeah, I go the same point. So yeah, Mike Conley bad. And maybe Rob is not fully ready to be a full-time starting point guard, but he's a rookie, what you expect. I think this is the season where we already went through the ups and downs. You might as well continue that trend, but allow Rob to develop because you expect him to be right next to Ant anyway. You might as well start it now. Start building that chemistry, that play early while they still, working through everything else. It's not like the worst idea here, the AC. I don't at this point, I don't think they really competing for a championship or think they can win a championship. But at this point, it's trying to develop because they only have so much avenues to really get better anyway.
Next team up is the Los Angeles Lakers. My resolution for them this year is to trade for a backup big. They already got Dorian Finney-Smith. That's a step in the right direction. And replace D'Angelo Russell with another creator. My dream scenario for the Los Angeles Lakers this season and in the future is to get Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler. That would be a actual dream come true. If they do that, I think they're going to be a actual dangerous team in the West, even come playoff time. Colin Sexton is one of the best point guards in this league. Obviously not top 10, but around like top 15, top 16. He's a really good player in this league, and I don't think a lot of people know it because he's in Utah. And they kind of had that stigma of him when he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers. But he's very good at pressuring the rim. He's shooting around 40% from 3. He can facilitate a little bit on the offense, so he can be a secondary or tertiary creator. And then Walker Kessler will probably be one of the best backup bigs in the entire league, behind Anthony Davis. And if they want to run those two big lineups like they did in 2020, it is a possibility to do it. Put Anthony Davis at the 4. So dream come true for the Lakers if they're able to do that. Rob Pelinka, hey, you no more slander for you if you're able to put it off. But that's my New Year's resolution: backup big and a tertiary creator.
Yeah, literally the same thing. Literally Walker Kessler and Colin Sexton. If you could only pull off Walker Kessler, I'd be fine. I think you can get both. But I think Walker Kessler should be like the number one move. Like they're only gonna give you Walker, take Walker, because easily gonna be ups to defense, gives you solid 20 minutes of center play. Can play with Anthony Davis, play without. Get some more rebounding in there. It's with the Lakers, you just got to improve on the margins because they got the 2 stars. You got Reeves doing his thing. You got Finney Smith now, so your defense is just going to be up. And if we want to run, like if they want to be as good of a team, last time they won, they were really, really good. They had a great defense. But I think they're making moves in the right direction. Or because they just double down on that.
Next team up is the Denver Nuggets. This was a pretty difficult team for me because I think they're kind of in a rough space. I would say just try to get a talent upgrade at the wing spot. If you can move off Michael Porter Jr. to get a Zach LaVine or a De'Aaron Fox, try to do your best to actually open up this championship window again for Nikola Jokic. I think it's closed. It's closed right now. They're not going to win a championship with this current roster. Jamal Murray is having one of the worst years of his career. And Michael Porter Jr. is solid, but he's on a contract that's not becoming what he is as a player. So you can you need a talent upgrade because Jamal Murray at this moment is looking like one of the worst contracts in the league. Russell Westbrook has been a pleasant surprise for this team. Ironically, so I think it's just finding a way to get talent upgrade on this roster, and especially in the starting lineup, if you can, because you have to. This is an all-time great peak right now from Nikola Jokic. You guys surround him with a team that's capable of winning the championship.
Yeah. For me, it's just get another guy. I was pretty vocal. Like I'm pretty vocal on it's like when these teams win their first championship, everybody had the idea like, yeah, they're just gonna go back and they're gonna go win it. The thing is, like, you never really seen that unless that team had 2 guys, like 2 real guys. Like you could say Jamal Murray becomes a real guy in the playoffs, but like you can't bank on that, especially if he's not gonna he doesn't do it for a whole chunk of time for me to believe that he's really one of those guys. Like I understand playoffs is important, but like it's those you gotta still do it for 82 games. Like teams just don't rattle off back to back. And if you want to actually win a championship, you're gonna need another guy. That's just inevitable, especially now. Like the league is getting deeper, it's getting better. Clear last year they got stunned at home. Another, suffering like another type of loss like that is just gonna, push them even back. So like they gotta just get another guy if they want to maximize Jokic right now.
Next team up is the Los Angeles Clippers. Hey man, been one of the best surprises of the season. I counted them out coming into the year because Kawhi was gonna miss the time, but James Harden and most importantly Norman Powell has kept them afloat. Ivica Zubac has been really good, arguably a top 10 center as far as the season goes. So they're actually in a pretty decent spot considering what we thought they were going to be coming in. Kawhi is allegedly coming back pretty soon. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy. So it's getting Kawhi healthy and getting him going on the team. Because I think James Harden is a really good fit for his game, just setting him up. Norman Powell's having a great year. If he can keep, having a great year when Kawhi comes back and his role is scaled down, then this team can be fun. Not dangerous, fun though. Come playoff time because they have a really, really good defense. They have a really, really good coach in Ty Lue. And then Kawhi Leonard, when he's on the court, is still one of the better players in the NBA. So if he's able to stay healthy, you have to prioritize his health because that's your last shot at being some type of contender or something like that. And then possibly next offseason you can make a trade or something like that to get him another guy or something like that. But I don't know. That's my New Year's resolution for the Clippers.
Yeah, this team was weird for me because I don't think Kawhi coming back makes them a contender. but it obviously makes them a better team, and they are a good team right now. But it's like I don't think they could compete with like the OKC. I still don't think they could compete with Denver, to be honest. Even the Clippers. I mean, the Mavericks. You know how Luka does the Clippers. It ain't about that's like, but I think that'd be good for morale. Get Kawhi back in the building. Next year, like next season, that's where like things could probably look up because you could probably make another move, like you said, right? If they want to do something right now and try to get Brandon Ingram, sure. But I don't know if you're gonna lock him up though. You already tried the 2-wing experiment before; it wasn't really the move. Maybe this time is different. But yeah, they've been cool. I don't think they have too much. Like I know internally they think they can compete. I don't think they really like if they really sat down and thought about it, they like think they compete. So. I mean, I guess just put butts in the seats. That's what they should want to do.
Next team up is the Dallas Mavericks. Just stay afloat while Luka is out with injury. Kyrie has kept them competitive. They had like 40 points the other night when a loss. Spencer Dinwiddie had 30 last night against the Kings and they lost. So just try to play like 500 basketball until Luka comes back. This is obviously a very talented, very good team. That's a championship contender in my opinion. So just try to stay afloat until Luka comes back from that calf injury.
Same thing. That's another team where like I don't think they need a premium seed to make a run because they have the top 5 player in the world. They got a good roster around them, good coaching, good infrastructure. Like got a second star, like shoulder low. Like they should be fine. As long as they try to stay somewhere around 500, when Luka come back, they still should be in good position to do some things.
All right, next team up is going to be the Houston Rockets. They're sitting right now at the 3rd seed, I believe, in the West. Again, this had to be necessary this season, but they have to upgrade that backcourt and then perimeter creation because it's very lacking right now. They're obviously one of the best defenses in the league. I would say start Amen Thompson. He is the best prospect on the team as far as the future wise. So yeah, definitely upgrade the backcourt. Fred VanVleet has been awful this year as far as his efficiency. He's still very turnover. Like he doesn't turn the ball over a lot, is what I'm trying to say. Jalen Green, year 4, still not a good player. I don't care what anybody says. He's not a good basketball player. The inefficiency for his volume is really bad. Maybe he can go be a good player somewhere else outside of Houston. But right now he's not one. So, and he also, I mean, you already signed him to his contract. So definitely try to trade him and see what he can get you back. I think is Fred VanVleet a team option or a player option?
Team.
The team option, yeah. If it's a team option, do not, obviously don't resign him. So yeah, that's my New Year's resolution for the Houston Rockets. It's to upgrade on this backcourt and then perimeter creation as a whole, for sure.
Yeah, same thing. More so like figure out what you got. Like I think they know who they want. Like they want to be on this team long term, and I think I know who they don't want on the team long term. Obviously, they don't got to make a move this February. See what you can do with this team in the playoffs, and then you'll understand where you need to be and what you're missing. And then from there, make that move. If it's a De'Aaron Fox, you make that move. If it's somebody else, you make that move. You got the contracts to make it work because you already done sign Jalen Green. That's already whatever it's going to be. If you move now, then you trade Fred VanVleet. That's like $40 million right there. That's enough to get anybody, and they got the cap space and some young talent to throw along with them. You pretty much in that seat with kind of like OKC where you could pretty much get anybody you want in here in Houston. So it's like it's all makes for a good destination.
Imagine if they got James Harden instead of Fred VanVleet. They might have been a little bit dangerous. I don't know. Because I think James Harden is still a pretty good basketball player. It's just when he needs to be the number 1 option, it's just not going to look good as far as efficiency-wise. Next team up is the Memphis Grizzlies, second to last team. My New Year's resolution for them is to monitor Ja's health and try to keep him on the floor. He got a sprained AC joint. I think it's week to week. But also, if they can upgrade the wing spot with a Cam Johnson or something like that to get a more scoring punch on this team. I know they were going to get Dorian Finney-Smith prior to him getting traded to the Lakers. Try to upgrade that wing spot because they have good wings. Of course, Vince Williams, they got G.G. Jackson. Very, very deep team. All these players are not necessarily going to play in the playoffs. So if you can get like a Cam Johnson who's definitely going to play for you in the playoffs and be very impactful for you and increase and help your offense a lot, then yeah, definitely try to go do that. Keep Jai healthy and upgrade the wing spot.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I've been saying they need to get a good wing in there for like the past 3 years now. Try to keep the defense honest. It helps the offense space it out a little bit. Jared Jackson has been great this year. I think Memphis, they're so low key. I think after the down year and then the whole Josh situation last 2 years, like people they forgot about Memphis. I think they could be like if they hit their potential upgrade at the wing, if Josh healthy, I think they could be somewhere in that mix with like OKC, Dallas, like things like that. As long as like they have a good core around them. Desmond Bane has been awful this year for being a $200 million guy. Teams like they're just guarding him off potential. It's not really like because he's shooting the lights out because he's not. But I think you get Cam Johnson in there, your starting five becomes more formidable. Your shooting, your defense, everything that you need on this team. And yeah, keep Jai healthy. Don't need him to go too crazy because started the season they was winning games, but he wasn't going. He wasn't giving you 27 a night like he was doing before. It was real calm. Yeah, as long as he's healthy, you should be fine. Got Jaren Jackson Jr. I think those are your two best players. Get Cam Johnson in there. Might be your third best player. That's cool. They got the depth. Everybody not going to play, but at least you got some, bodies to run out there to, keep Ja off as fresh as possible. If Zach Edey does what he does, like you get some, some backup minutes. They got a good roster. It's not much that they had to do. I think Cam Johnson's like a marginal move, but it's very impactful for them. And Ja just got to stay healthy. Still one of the best players in this league.
Last team for today is going to be the OKC Thunder, the best team in the entire NBA well, not record-wise, but in the West. Improving the margins as much as you can. Don't get complacent in what you guys got. You obviously have a really great team, but there's definitely some flaws, some value in shooting. On this team needs to be better. They also need probably another creator. You can go get a Colin Sexton to come off the bench. You can go get a Cam Johnson to slide in as a wing. Just try to make marginal improvements on this team to push them to the next level. I think they're a championship contender right now, even without that. But if you can improve on this roster as far as secondary creation outside of Shea and J-Dub, or that'll be tertiary creation, definitely do it if you can. And then also just get Chet healthy because you're going to need him on this playoff run when he comes back. I think he's going to be back by the All-Star break. So get my guy healthy, get him back in the lineup so all the questions with this team's offense can be alleviated when they get that 7-foot dribble pass shoot unicorn back on the floor. So.
Oh my gosh. OKC, this is one of the teams that their weaknesses are minute. So it's not like I don't think it hurts them too much. Like obviously playmaking and size is still an issue, but it doesn't hurt them. Like it's not like look, they can't do this. Like again, this one of those things they can improve on the margins. They don't need to take a big swing because they already got their star talent like in home. They want to give up a pick or two for Cam Johnson here if they want to beat out Cleveland or Memphis just to spite them, make them, where they actually get better, even but like, Cam Johnson, another one that allows them to play with the lineup, do whatever, anything they want. You definitely can play with iHeart, can play with Chet, can play with both of them. They're in a pretty cool spot right now. Right as of right now, nobody's really touching them in the West. I think Dallas fully healthy can, but as of right now, they're chilling right now. I don't see them having a real issue. They wanted to, based on how the playoff run goes in the summer, they could decide to do something. If they had to make a real, substantial move, they could do that. But right now, today, it's just the Celtics chill, see what you got, let your second best player come back, and then from there on, let the playoffs go, see what you really need, and then you can just make the moves from there.
That's going to do it for the video. Make sure you go, through your team and see your team or teams, how many teams you got, and see what we have for your newest resolution for your team. Follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen, and it will be in the description. We need more following on there so we can continue to grow as a podcast as a whole. Thank you guys for rocking with us, and Happy New Year's. Hopefully it's going to be a great year for the podcast and for you and your family and all that type of stuff. and we are out.